G'day everyone and welcome to Self-Reliance Australia. So look, apologies I haven't got a lot of videos out over the last few weeks, but I've been trying to get them at least consistently, coming every fortnight. Look, it's coming to that time of year where I've just been flat out just maintaining the property, so cutting grass takes a few hours every weekend, and in between that and family activities I haven't been really getting to do the type of jobs that I would generally like to be able to do. So today what I want to talk about is the 5 Ds of how to protect your property. And so those 5 are to deter, to detect, delay, defend and deny. So let's have a look at the first one. So the first one for deter can be something as simple as having a fence and a gate. So when we first moved here, our gate was always open, and what we noticed was people were just driving in to the property. So we quickly started closing the gate, and we also put a sign up saying notice private property, no trespassing. Now that might seem something fairly simple to do and you go, well, will that really stop people coming in? But quite often people that do come into your property are just opportunists. You know, they drive past, they see an open gate and they go, oh gee, I wonder if anybody's home. And particularly where we live, there's quite a lot of holiday homes around, so quite often properties are left unattended. So people do like to come in and see what they can find, in inverted commas. So putting that gate there is a barrier. And I know we've even had guests who we've invited out and they will stop at the gate because I've seen that sign. They go, oh gee, should we be coming in or not? So it does stop and deter people to a certain degree. Now I know at our previous property, one of the things that we did there, and this sort of blends into a little bit of the second one, which is detect, and is that we were in a fairly new estate where we built previously, and we weren't allowed to have fences actually on the property because that was part of the covenants on the particular estate that we had, because they wanted this nice open, you know, neighbourhoodly feel type to it. But I have to say, we had a weird neighbour, and there was one particular trip I used to travel a fair bit with work, and I guess he could tell when I was away. In one particular trip I was away for a few weeks, but like he saw when the driver pulled up at the front to pick me up, take me to the airport, and like on the second night I was away, 11:30 at night, he's rattling at the front door of the house, knowing that my wife was home with the 2 girls on their own, and so she got up, thankfully didn't answer the door, but she saw him walking off. So you do get people like that. Now because I couldn't put a fence up and a gate up, what I did is I put cameras up, and I put a big shotgun camera up, so one that looks like it's really what they call a shotgun type camera, so it's not one of those little dome ones that you normally see in houses. And even the guy goes, look, that's a pretty aggressive looking camera. So I told him what it was for, and he goes, okay, fair call. But look, that was a deterrent. There were times when after that I literally saw the guy walking across the street to our house because I had him captured on camera, and then he'd stop, he'd see the camera, and he'd turn around and leave again. So great way to deter. Other things can be things like security doors, security screens on your windows. There's a lot of talk within the security industry, maybe not a lot, but there's some talk around this in the security industry about, is that just moving the problem onto the next house? But the reality is that you want to keep your family safe. So if you don't want people coming into your property, I highly recommend it. Now people are opportunists, trying to get that thing or break in for some cash or whatever they're going to try and do. They'll take the easy option. They're not going to try and break into a house, or maybe they will, but they're less likely to try and break into a house that has security cameras, security screens on the windows, security screens on the doors, because it's just too hard. It takes time, and all that time is an opportunity for people to see them and then report them. So they will take the easy option. So the second D, which is after deter, is to detect. So cameras are a great way to do that. Now, look, for me, I love the cameras on the house, but haven't really felt the need for it where we are now, because we are a long way from the city. In the suburb we had, home invasions were on the rise, like fairly rapidly. There'd be a couple of nights a week when we'd hear helicopters flying overhead at 2 a.m. in the morning, just because they were chasing people through the suburbs. Not so much here now, but cameras are a great way to detect. And look, another great way is to have dogs. Dogs will bark. believe it or not, our sheep also let us know when people are coming. Bit weird, but the sheep actually start making a lot of noise when people are coming onto the property. Now another thing that we have here are the birds. So the wildlife get used to who should be here and who shouldn't be here. So for us that is an early detection device. But also having the dogs makes a very, very big difference, because people don't tend to come in when they know there's dogs going to be there, because they give them away. So great detection device. Also a bit of a deterrent, because no one wants to get bitten by a dog. So let's be honest. So those two start to blend a little bit. So it's a great way to do it. Now the third one is delay. So I talked before about having security screens on the doors, on the windows, having good locks, and look, that plays a big part. So you can have just your standard locks, or you can have industrial grade locks, like I think if I can find my keys in my back pocket here. So on our doors we have these type of keys that are double layered, so they're not a single layer key, so industrial type or commercial locks. It slows people up, makes it harder to break into. One of the other things we had on a previous house also was having a steel frame for the door, so that way, you know, normal timber frame, it's very easy to get a little crowbar in and break them open. So having a steel frame can be very beneficial as well. But having multiple layers, so having a security door, having that locked, having another door that's locked, it just slows people down. And also having the security screens on the windows can make a big difference as well. So anything that's going to delay them. But part of that process in delaying people too is that if they're trying to break in, you can hear them coming in. Like if you're home, you can normally hear that, because it's going to be noisy for them to try and break through those type of those mechanisms that they're trying to break through. So it actually gives them away. So that's a great way to delay them up. Now the fourth one is to defend. Now look, I know overseas you have different laws around guns and all that sort of stuff. In Australia we have very strict and tight gun control, so any guns need to be locked in safes, and so they're not going to be readily accessible, or they shouldn't be readily accessible. It's not like you're going to be having a gun beside your bed. That would be highly illegal. And by the way, most people don't really have guns anymore, so it's probably not that big of a thing. But you need to know what you're prepared to do to defend your family and your property, and what do you have in place to do that. Part of that's knowing your property, knowing what's important, knowing your way around the house. Can you maneuver around your house in the dark? Knowing where things are. Are you going to trip over? Are you going to miss the light switch? Do you know what sounds should be coming from your house? If it's in the middle of the night and you hear something going on, you think, is that someone awake, or is that someone moving in my house, or is that the cat? So that all plays a part. So be very aware of that. So that's the fourth one. And look, some people put different things in place. Like I know I've seen some things on overseas videos and they seem a little bit extreme, but each to their own, depending on what they have to defend, I guess, which is really important to them. And then the last one is deny. So this is more like having a panic room. So not so relevant for us down here where we are. We have a very low crime rate, which is good. Now that doesn't say we're immune to it, but the type of crime and level of crime is very, very different to what it was in the inner suburbs of the city where we were before. I guess we weren't even in the inner suburbs, we were in the outer suburbs, but the crime rate was just going all a little bit crazy. But also I think it's important when you build that room to deny people coming in, understanding what it's for and what it's designed to do. So for us down here, like that deny, if you're protecting your property and yourself, could actually be a fire bunker. And so that's denying the fire to get to you. So it's not always about bandits breaking in and attacking your property either, by the way. It can actually be protecting you from the elements of a natural disaster. So look, we haven't done that yet here as far as protecting ourselves from the bushfires. What you'll see though is that I do keep the grass very short and green, and so we've got hundreds of meters of short green grass between us and the trees. So there you go, I hope that's been helpful. So the 5 Ds for protecting your property is to deter, detect, delay, defend and deny. Hope that's been helpful. There's some simple things that you can do. They don't always need to cost a lot of money, but it's just a bit of common sense really. It just stops those people that are driving past, being the opportunists that might just pop into your property to have a look around and see what they can take. Look, I think for anyone that's been in law enforcement or the military will know that if you really want to get into a building, you will. It may not be pretty and it may make a lot of noise, but you'll get in if you really want to. So this isn't going to stop those that really want to get in. This is really about that peace of mind, stopping you from, or stopping the opportunists who are just driving past and having the sticky beak and go, oh look, I like the look of that, I might take it. So it does protect you from much of that. So if you found that helpful, please give us the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps the channel to grow. And a big shout out and thank you to everyone that's subscribed in the last few weeks and watched too. So just been blown away by the amount of support, the amount of views that have come over the last couple of months, and the amount of subscriptions. So really greatly appreciate that. Appreciate you for all watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one.